But you can never write him off. You can never say never with him. You can never, especially now, and I said this at the weekend, Richard, that when Boris was around just a week ago, I wasn't sure that he wanted to come back and run the party, but I think now he's got something to prove.
You should never write him off, that is for sure. He's a campaigner and he's won many elections. And whatever anybody else thinks of him, as I indicated yesterday on my show, Mike, he has been a very significant political figure in the last 15 years in the United Kingdom. No ifs and no buts.
Yeah.
He was a very successful, by and large, mayor of London. Obviously, he helped with the referendum campaign for Brexit. And he thanks to what we did as the Brexit Party, he was able to get a decent majority so that we did actually technically leave the European Union. In a sense, so whatever you think, he has had a massive influence, and he loves politics. So who knows what happens, but I suspect those that just say he's going to shuffle off and write books and give speeches around the world, that is probably
that doesn't feed his ego enough, does it? I don't think, and that's the point. And isn't it interesting that you speak about his job running the mayor's office in London, because the mayor's office in London now has been embroiled in all of this because Paul Scully, who was previously thought to be probably the most high-profile individual who had been sort of nominated as a possible Tory candidate, has apparently not had his name moved forward. What's that all about?
This is utterly extraordinary because the Tory long list of 8 names that we knew about was a bunch of people that, frankly, nobody had ever heard of, with the possible exception, if you've really been paying attention, of Paul Scully, Conservative MP for Croydon and Minister for London. So he was the front runner. He was the sort of the bookies' favourite. He hasn't even made the shortlist of 3, which is made up of Susan Hall, a chap called Daniel Korski, that again most people haven't heard of. Right. Some people have heard of Susan, who I know you have on your show, and then a gentleman that no one has heard of, who wasn't even on the long list, and doesn't even have any form of social media platform. He's a barrister at King's Counsel, clearly very well qualified and eminent, but just came completely left field, and I think everyone's just left utterly bemused. And from our perspective at Reform, we've got a fantastic candidate in Howard Cox, who stands for Getting London Moving. And I think that, we are the clear candidate that can get Sadiq Khan out.
Right. I mean, I find it interesting that Scully has been taken off the list, if you like. I mean, do you think this is Boris-related as well? Do you think this has got something to do with more by-elections that they don't want to have, or is it something to do with loyalists who are friends with Boris? Because I think Paul Scully was in Boris's cabinet at one point.
Look, all sorts of skullduggery continues within the civil war of the Tory party, and so that is quite possible, given the timing. But it is pretty extraordinary, given that he was literally the bookies' favourite. And I don't think any of them had or have a chance of defeating Khan. So, but it's just, I think it's symptomatic of a Tory party that it's in complete turmoil.
Yeah, absolutely right. Just moving track for a moment, I don't know whether you were ever invited to one of Silvio Berlusconi's bunga parties, but he's passed away this morning. There is no more. And the first thing that everybody thought of, and everybody around the office just started going, that's the end of the bunga parties. I mean, this was a guy who, he was a fascinating character. He ran a media empire at the same time as being a right-wing Italian politician, a very successful one. He had his flaws, again, a figure who was in quite a bit of trouble from time to time. He ended up in the European Parliament, though, didn't he?
I think obviously, someone like that passing, it's a sad day for his family and friends. He was a huge figure in Italian politics, and I think it's fair to say that he was in Italian politics and in business. He was a larger-than-life character. He was a colourful personality in every way. Let's put it like that. And he will be, I'm sure, for all those sort of reasons that you've just touched on. That type of personality is missed. They're few and far between. It becomes ever harder to be a character in any form of public life. And it's a pretty significant day and passing for Italian politics.
I mean, God help us from and preserve us from the likes of Ed Davey and Keir Starmer in place of Silvio Berlusconi and Boris Johnson. I'm sorry. I know what I prefer.
You're never going to think of those two and bunga parties, are you?
You really are not. You would not want to go to any party that Keir Starmer was at, or indeed one that Ed Davey was involved in either. Final, I guess we haven't even mentioned. I mean, all of this has been going on. We haven't even mentioned Nicola Sturgeon getting arrested, for heaven's sake.
I mean, just this goes on and on. It's been a long time, this investigation, and I think many people expected that she would be summoned to be asked questions. She's put out a statement professing that she's completely convinced of her innocence of any wrongdoing, and we must, of course, respect that. The whole thing is extraordinary. Politically, though, it continues to be incredibly damaging for the SNP. I'm delighted about that as a very firm, strong unionist. And I think the independence cause is, frankly, is done. It's dead and buried. And frankly, I think that helps the United Kingdom political scene enormously.
Yes.
We should now get on to making sure that Scotland is run properly, because at the moment, sadly, it's been run appallingly by the SNP and Holyrood. Yeah,
I think the Scottish police were looking for the independence campaign in Nicola Sturgeon's garden. Couldn't find it, so nobody knows where it's gone. But anyway, final question. Apparently, Just Stop Oil, it's just been revealed, and their protests over the previous 6 weeks from now have cost the Metropolitan Police £4.5 million. Should we not just send a bill to Dale Vince?
Completely. I think we should, actually. We should say, hey, Dale, you've got pots of money. Why are you consuming taxpayers' cash? Why are you making decent, hard-working tradespeople and parents taking kids to school suffer in this way? You write the cheque. You write the bill, my friend.
Yeah.
Because, you're so pro this. What I would do, I'm absolutely clear, and they're out again this morning. I think they're selfish, juvenile jerks. I think they should all be locked up under existing laws. The 1980s Highway Act, it's there. It doesn't need new legislation. The police need to do the job they're paid for and lock them all up for 51 weeks. No ifs, no buts, and guess what? This will soon stop.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Richard. Absolutely right.